Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Council for the Town of Petawawa to order for November 17, 2025. Welcome to members of Council, welcome members of staff, and our special guest, Henry. We'll start this meeting off with the reading of the land acknowledgement, and this evening it's Deputy Mayor Savran.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As we gather this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of Petawawa Town Council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Omama Wanini Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Omama Wanini people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years, and we wish to acknowledge our shared responsibilities in responding to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission 94 calls to action. Call to action number 76. We call upon the parties engaged in the work of documenting, maintaining, commemorating, and protecting residential school cemeteries to adopt strategies in accordance with the following principles. Number 1, the Aboriginal community most affected shall lead the development of such strategies. Number 2, information shall be sought from residential school survivors and other knowledge keepers in the development of such strategies. 3, Indigenous protocols shall be respected before any potentially invasive technical inspection and investigation of a cemetery site. Recent progress. The Residential Schools Missing Children Community Support Fund currently has 146 agreements in place with Indigenous communities and partners for a total of $216.6 million as of April 26 of 2024. These funds will support community-led and survivor-centric efforts to locate, document, and memorialize burial sites associated with former Indian residential schools and honor families' wishes to repatriate children's remains.
Thank you. And now I'd ask everybody in attendance if they would please join me in standing for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you very much. I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Moved by Councillor Carmody, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that the agenda for the November 17, 2025 regular meeting of Council be adopted as presented. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest on any of this evening's minutes? Deputy Mayor Sadler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will disclose on bylaw number 1784/25, being a bylaw to adopt amendment number 24 of the official plan of the town of Petawawa.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Savran. And now I need a motion to approve the minutes of the council meeting of November 3rd, 2025. Moved by Deputy Mayor Savran, seconded by Councillor Roots, that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held November 3rd, 2025 be approved as printed and circulated. Any edits, comments on the minutes? Then I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Okay, we have no presentations, so at this point, we'll ask Deputy Mayor Savran to excuse herself from the council chambers as we go to our first bylaw. Okay, first up, we have bylaw 1784/25, being a bylaw to adopt amendment number 24 to the official plan of the town of Petawawa, as well as staff report PL-33-2025, the official plan amendment number 24 concerning Clark and Stephen Street, registered plan 547, lots 1 and 7. I need a motion for the first and second reading. Moved by Councillor Roots, seconded by Councillor Donovan, that bylaw 1784/25, being a bylaw to adopt amendment number 24 to the official plan of the town of Petawawa, be read a first and second time. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried.
Appropriation of the town of Petawawa, bylaw 1784/25, being a bylaw to adopt amendment number 24 to the official plan of the town of Petawawa, be read a first and second time on the 17th day of November, 2025.
I need a motion for third and final reading of bylaw 1784/25. Moved by Councillor Patu, seconded by Councillor Carmody, that bylaw 1784/25 be read a third and final time and passed. Are there any questions, concerns, or comments on the bylaw? Then I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried.
Appropriation of the town of Petawawa, bylaw 1784/25, being a bylaw to adopt amendment number 24 to the official plan of the town of Petawawa, be read a third time and passed. This constitutes third and final reading of bylaw 1784/25, the 17th day of November, 2025.
And we'll invite Deputy Mayor Sadler back to the council. Okay, next we have correspondence. And this evening, we're going to look at a proposed postal code change in the K8A zone of the town of Petawawa. So as council is aware, this has come up for discussion several times over the years. And when we last left this resolution, council had asked for a survey or a communique to be sent out to all of the 50 businesses in the affected K8A area. So staff undertook that in early October and gave businesses almost a month to respond. And during that time, there was one call received by myself and one letter received from one business owner that indicated a negative response. Nobody else submitted any written responses on a negative standpoint, and there were no written responses from a positive standpoint either. There were several calls and several personal encounters between members of the public, myself, and other members of the council that were positive in favor of the K8A postal code change. So after having sent out that communique and listened to the feedback, only 2 out of 50 are against. So council can assume that everybody else is in favor. So what we're looking at here is taking the next step then. And the next step would be to communicate with Canada Post to let them know all of the steps that we have taken over the past couple of years here in the town of Petawawa and in terms of our staff and council, and asking them to move it forward through the Canada Post process. Now, in speaking with Canada Post, it doesn't sound like it's something that happens very quickly, that they have to put it onto their budgetary year and put it up the chain of command to get things processed. But the next step that they require is us passing a resolution to let them know that we're ready to take the next step. So I don't know if you've had a chance to read the whole resolution. Would you like me to read the whole thing first, John, or just ask for a motion?
Go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And then ask for a motion, but then you don't have to.
Excellent. As long as we have to do it once. Okay, here's the motion that's before us this evening. Whereas Canada Post Corporation is the federal authority responsible for the administration and assignment of all postal codes in Canada, and whereas the residents and businesses of the K8A postal code area within the municipal boundaries of the corporation of the town of Petawawa currently use postal codes associated with the city of Pembroke. And whereas this discrepancy causes significant confusion for emergency dispatch services, parcel and food delivery services, insurance ratings, utility services, census, marketing services, and local business recognition, and does not accurately reflect the municipal identity of the affected area. And whereas the council of the corporation of the town of Petawawa has received reports and feedback from the community indicating a desire to change their postal codes to align with their actual municipality. And whereas a public consultation process was conducted with a majority of the respondents in favor of pursuing a postal code change, now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Petawawa formally requests that Canada Post Corporation initiate the necessary process to change the postal codes for the affected areas within the K8A postal code to accurately reflect the town of Petawawa. And be it further resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer and municipal staff be directed to work collaboratively with Canada Post representatives to facilitate this change. And be it further resolved that a formal letter detailing this resolution and supporting documentation be sent to the Minister of Public Services and Procurement, Canada, and the local Member of Parliament advocating for the inclusion of municipal and community voices in this process. So if you're comfortable with that, I need a motion. Moved by Councillor Ruth, seconded by Councillor Coutu, and I won't read the whole motion again, but I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Oh, yes, certainly. Before I call for the vote, are there any questions or comments? Deputy Mayor Simon.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that due diligence was conducted in terms of reaching out to the business community. The only question that I have is with relation to the fact that it states that there should be no cost to the town of Petawawa, and that's really appealing to me. But I'm wondering if we might be able to ask that somebody from the post give us something in writing so that we've got something to cover us in case some costs do in fact come back, because sometimes things pop up that folks aren't aware of, and I would like that to be considered. Please and thank you.
Okay, so that's a good point. The last time we had a presentation, we did have confirmation from Canada Post that they would provide the full costs of a 1-year forwarding program for all the residents and businesses, and that there would be no cost on the part of the town of Petawawa. The Canada Post covers the cost for the changes and that 1-year mail forwarding. But I will ask for that again, just so that we actually quite certain.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Other questions or comments? Councillor Kern.
Thank you for your service. I have no problem supporting this. My initial concern was the businesses, and it seems to be that what was an issue 10, 15 years ago is no longer an issue for most businesses, so it's full steam ahead.
Thanks for your comments. Councillor Ruth.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for bringing this forward. I know this is something that you've been wanting to get accomplished. And I think it's some good housekeeping, and it finally identifies Petawawa residents and businesses in Petawawa.
Thanks for your comments as well. I think we've all heard all of the reasoning behind this and all of the impetus for this proposed change. I think the clincher was just recently this year when we applied for a Ministry of Health grant for 2 full-time positions and a one full-time admin position at our Petawawa Centennial Family Health Center. We were in competition, of course, with the Champlain Family Health Team in Pembroke, and they were the winning bidders, and we were not. And it turns out that all of our unattached patients in the K8A area were indicated as being part of the Pembroke and Champlain Health Team as opposed to our health team. Whether or not that had an adverse effect on our bid, one can only suspect that it would have affected them. So, among other things, that was the clincher for sure. Okay, any further questions or comments? Then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? It's carried. Okay, let's go to the minutes. We have some minutes from the council and committee meeting of November 10th, 2025. I need a motion to accept those minutes. Moved by Councillor Carmody, seconded by Deputy Mayor Savin, that the minutes of the council and committee meeting held on November 10th, 2025 be accepted by council, and that resolutions from that committee become resolutions of council. Are there any questions, concerns? Then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Next, we have minutes from the Petawawa Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting of September 18th, 2025. I need a motion to accept those minutes. Moved by Councillor Donovan, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sabrin, That the minutes of the Petawawa Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting held on September 18, 2025 be adopted as information. Councillor Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I know I spoke to these at the time. Just wanted to point out that these lists that we have completed the 3 barrier-free audits for the town. It also notes a timing for the accessibility report to council, which since this date has been changed into the new year. We were quite lucky to have the opportunity to cross over with the Seniors Advisory Committee as part of their event to provide information and a booth to support their activity. And then the point around the Parks Canada is now working with the Rick Hansen Foundation to ensure that parks in Ontario as well as the rest of Canada will become accessible by 2040. And then just a quick shout out that the Sensory Santa is on the 6th of December from 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And it's being hosted at the Comfort Station this year.
Nice.
So bookings can be made right from the town's website. So make sure that you're scheduled in if that's your requirement for your family. If there's any questions, I'll take them.
Questions on the report? Councillor Rich.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Dunn, nice to hear about the conversation. This is what this is all about, and this is a good way to start that right off and into that type of season. Thank you.
Any other questions on the minutes? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. Next, we have minutes from the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee of September 24th, 2025. I need a motion to accept those minutes. Moved by Councillor Coutu, seconded by Deputy Mayor Sabrant. That the minutes of the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Committee meeting held on September 24th, 2025 be adopted as information. Councillor Coutu.
Thank you, Minister. Some of you guys have spoken to before. We did some planning on the Truth and Reconciliation event that happened back in September. We moved forward on a few projects, including the Men's Healing Circle. But in particular, we added some more businesses to our commitment to inclusion agreement. I can add 2 more to the list there: Century 21 Inspire Realty and Capital Mortgages. So it's starting to really catch on with businesses. We're getting a lot of positive feedback. So please watch for those little logos popping up in windows around town. We also moved forward on our municipal inclusion charter and the welcome package. So hoping to have some more things to bring back to the council this year on those 2 items. And then we planned for the blanket exercise, which has now occurred. So we'll report a bit about that in my council report. I'm available for any questions you have.
Questions on the minutes? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? It's carried. Next, we have minutes from the Petawawa Business Advisory Network meeting of October 7th, 2025. I need a motion to approve those minutes. Moved by Councillor Roots, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that the minutes of the Petawawa Business Advisory Network meeting held on October 7th, 2025 be adopted as information. Councillor Roots.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've spoken to all the ideas that you see in front of you at our other council meetings. But what is very important to me is the information for business openings, milestones, and celebrations. It seems that every time I look at this section, there's so many new businesses coming to our town, so many new opportunities, so many businesses feeding off each other. They seem to want to enhance their own businesses as the town grows. Nice to see after all these years that the Wolf Plaza has new owners and the facility is 80% leased and verbal commitments. Even a Algonquin Portage is reinventing himself and bringing back some ideas. And I think this is really nice to see. And I know they're getting a lot of support from our wonderful staff here in town. And but the hats off to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions on the minutes? Deputy Mayor Sabrant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well said, Murray. I noted that the meeting was held at the Holiday Inn Suites here in Petawawa, and it occurred to me that it was as a result of the fact that we weren't able to access this facility due to the renovation. However, it also occurred to me that it might be an idea to start going to various businesses to hold those meetings it gives an important exposure, and it allows for particularly the P-band members to have a first-hand peek into the businesses and things like that. So anyways, that was just a thought I wanted to share. Probably, thanks.
Councilor Roots.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Deputy Mayor, for that idea. And I know that our economic manager, Christine Mitchell, she has taken those Coffee Connect meetings out into the public and all those gatherings to enhance people's businesses. And they've already had 3 of those, and they're very successful and growing. And I know that there's a lineup for that, for people wanting to host those. So maybe it's time to have a PBAD meeting there as well. Thank you.
Okay, any further questions or comments? Then I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? It's carried. We have no staff reports, so we'll go right into councilor reports, and we'll start it off with Deputy Mayor Sadler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just since our last update on this past Saturday, the 15th, I attended Festival Hall for Super Tramp. I think it was the Tramp Dreamer. Anyways, so well done, and it brought back tons of memories from much younger days. However, I had forgotten that they were so very instrumental and just an amazing performance. So, and of course the sound is excellent, and there's always new features being added. So well done to the group. And today I attended the wrap-up meeting for the Emergency Protective Services Unite meeting. And I'd just like to extend a big thanks to all the committee members, but most importantly to Alicia Davis, who has spearheaded this and who does a tremendous amount of work to get this off the ground. And a big thank you to the committee. $4,000 per charity has been donated. So to the Petawawa Pantry, to the Special Olympics, and to the St. Joseph's Food Bank. So I wanted to share that.
Thank you. Councilor Kern.
Thank you, Mayor Service. I too can say that I attended the Super Tramp event on Saturday night. Very good show, and as always, Festival Hall was top shelf 5-star facility. And on Friday, I attended the opening of a new display at the Base Museum commemorating Algonquin involvement in Canada's military. And I guess that was it. Or, no, there was one other bit. Hold it. Oh, yeah, of course, Remembrance Day. I attended the Remembrance Day ceremony on Tuesday.
Thank you, Councilor Kern. Councilor Coutu.
Thank you for your service. Going back a bit, on November 1st, I attended the Veteran Business Expo. On November 5th, I chaired a meeting of the Library Finance Committee. And on November 7th, I attended, actually I participated in, the blanket exercise that was facilitated by the Circle Turtle Lodge here in Petawawa. And a huge thank you to the staff who took time to come out and participate in that exercise. I'll say that the feedback was positive, and the intention is now to make that a yearly event. So anyone who didn't have an opportunity to participate this time around will be holding it again. It was a truly powerful and beneficial exercise. So thank you again for everyone who took time to come out. And then on November 11th, I attended the Remembrance Day ceremony at Jean Valjean.
Thank you. Councilor Griswold.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have none to report.
Thank you. You want to tell us about your success in the deer hunt?
Lack thereof.
Councilor Dunn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just need to report on the 5th of November, I participated in the Senior Advisory Committee meeting. And then as well, on the 15th, I was at a concert, past one that I did a lot of singing. Yeah, it's a good thing they were loud. It was a great concert, very well done by Festival.
Thank you. Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. November 11th, I was attended the Remembrance Day ceremony, and I laid a wreath on behalf of all of our veterans and people serving in the military, and laid a wreath for our local MVP, Billy Deno from the Conservative Party. I want to thank all the council members for attending the Festival Hall events and full support. I've been working behind the curtain. And as we now move forward with some stage enhancements, we will be trying this in the up and coming weeks. It's taken a bit of work to get everyone from the alarm companies to the fire department to the building department to be able to accommodate and the school board. And I want to thank all those groups and individuals who come to those meetings and guide us along to make sure that everyone is safe and the kids at the school is safe. And but we're able to provide this because it's a big part now to the next level where we want to go. And I can announce also that the RFQ is now out for the new enhanced lighting phase 1 for Festival Hall. So again, just trying to keep things moving in that direction and making this a facility that the whole community from Ottawa to North Bay can be proud of Festival Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good thing there wasn't one more councillor at Superintendent. We would have had quorum. Could have a meeting there. Okay, I'd just like to, first of all, thank Councillor Carmody for building 3 of our frames. You can see from home our satellite photos.
As always.
You can't even tell which were the old ones and which are the new ones. That's how good Councillor Carmody is in the chat. He is. I also had a meeting with, started the month off with a meeting with the base commander, just as an update and catching up on the ongoings on the garrison, and I gave them an update on what's going on in the town. On November 5th, we had a special corporate services committee meeting at the county council, and it was concerning compensation for councillors, health plans, and other compensatory measures, not only for council, but for staff as well. And we also that day had an intermunicipal meeting, which is with the county councillors and the city of Pembroke. Interesting news out of that meeting was an update on the Heart Hub that the county's been working on in conjunction with the city of Pembroke. So the Care For building that they were renovating, the first floor, they were renovating 12 beds for transitional housing. And the 11 beds are now full. 11 of the 12 are now full. And it seems to be making a difference, not only down at the Warming Center where attendance is a little bit lower because now there's 11 individuals in the transitional housing, but even around town it's been noticed that some of the individuals that need housing now have a place to get it. So it's a huge success story. And the bigger news is that as part of the Heart Hub and all of the funding and all of the infrastructure that they're trying to put in place, there's going to be a new facility on Boundary Road, just on the across the street from Hemlings 2, and it's going to have a 35-bed facility, 24, I believe, for, I always get the term wrong. It's not a detox center, but for individuals who are trying to get off of whatever opioids they are on, and another 11 beds that would be transitioned. So that's presently undergoing a tender to get renovated, and hopefully that's up and running next year sometime. So that's big news, not only for Pembroke and Metro County, but for everybody around here. There'll be a facility that can take care and look after individuals who need help. Here's a place that they can go get it. On November 6th was the CNL Awards evening. I presented a thank you plaque to the administration team of CNL, just thanking them for all of their support over the years for the community of Petawawa. All the financial support they always give us for all of our events, sponsorship events, and all the volunteer hours that their employees put in here in our town of Petawawa to make our events and everything run smoothly here in Petawawa. Some interesting awards. I got to tell you, there's a lot going on there that I just didn't realize. The Actinium 225 project that provides medical isotopes to help cure cancer. They're kind of ramping that up and hoping to manufacture more of it there at that facility. And they also, there's a team that's working on a device. It's almost like a giant X-ray machine, I would call it, that detects opioids, fentanyl, traces of explosives, and can be used at border crossings and airports and things like that. And it's being worked on right up here in Joffrey. November 7th, I attended the blanket exercise. Thank you, Lisa, and all of your team for putting that together. I wasn't sure what I was getting into, to be honest with you, but it was probably one of the most emotional 3 hours I've spent in my life taking part in that whole exercise. So I would highly recommend it to council, staff, everybody in Petawawa. You know what? Everybody in Canada should take part in one of these to truly understand the history of the Indigenous people in their country. On November 8th, I went to a Renos for Heroes gala down in Vaughan. I was a guest with Mike Tronger and his wife, and had the opportunity to sit at a table with 4 Afghan veterans, and also had a chance to speak with 6 World War II and Korean War veterans, the oldest of which was 104 years old. And he was very sharp and told me the name of every ship he was on and everywhere he served in World War II. It was really a humbling experience to listen to all those stories. On November 9th, there was a Remembrance Day dinner at the Petawawa Legion, and I had the opportunity to present them with a 75th anniversary painting that was done by a local artist here in Petawawa, and they were very appreciative of that. On Remembrance Day, the actual Remembrance Day, in the morning I was at Valor. We honored Chief Warrant Officer Phil Lucette as our Petawawa honoree for Remembrance Day this year, and got him a plaque on the Juno Beach Memorial. And then I came over to the Legion, and once again, Petawawa always does it best. I say there's a huge crowd there, and it's quite a tribute to our veterans and our serving members of the military. Thanks to the Deputy Mayor for laying the wreath on behalf of the town, as I have to lay the one on behalf of the county. November 12th, it was County Council, it was Community Services, Corporate Services, and Health. I'll report more on that at the end of the month. The next day, November 13th, I had a grade 5 class in council chambers from Lady Osoro School. Don's son was here participating in. We did a mock council right here at this table. And it's always, it's amazing to see how much the kids already know. And it's amazing to see some of their reactions to being a counselor. And a common question is always, how can we afford that? And on November 14th, I took part in Indigenous Veterans Day at the Base Museum. And as Councillor Carmen said, there's 2 excellent new exhibits up there on the history of the Algonquin people in the Upper Ottawa Valley and the history of Indigenous members of the military. So if you haven't been up there, go check it out. There's some really nice things. Okay, and that's it. There's no closed meeting. I need a motion for the confirming bylaw. Moved by Councillor Roots, seconded by Councillor Coutu. That bylaw 1785/25 be read the first, second, and third time and passed. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried.
Resolution to Town of Petawawa, bylaw 1785/25, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council at its meeting held on November 17th, 2025. Be read the first, second, and third time and passed. This constitutes first, second, and third reading short of bylaw 1785/25, the 17th day of November, 2025.
I need a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Driscoll, seconded by Councillor Coutu, that the meeting adjourned to the call on here. I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's carried. This microphone keeps off and off again. My report, the microphone.